Right now, on to the point, highlighting Black voices, history, and contributions. Meet those working to create change in our communities.
What motivates me is the senseless tragedies that occur.
Sacramento's Black Child Legacy campaign marks 10 years. The progress made and challenges still to overcome. Making history.
We got something great that we can build here in Sacramento.
Sacramento State hiring its first Black head football coach, how he got his start and where he wants to take the program, and legacy in the Vine.
Growing up, I didn't know that this was an option as a career.
We hit the back roads to meet the family behind Napa's first Black-owned winery. Thank you for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell, and over the next half hour, we are highlighting Black voices, history, and contributions in our community. For a full decade now, a taxpayer-funded initiative has been saving the lives of babies, kids, and teens throughout Sacramento County. It's called the Black Child Legacy Campaign. ABC10's Becca Hobbecker shows us the impact that it's had over the past 10 years and also what the future holds.
Ready? Yeah.
It's Tournament Tuesday at Liberty Towers Youth Center. Here in Sacramento County's Foothill Farms neighborhood, the nonprofit organization Impact SAC runs an after-school hangout space for teens.
We have good role models here, people that are staff, volunteers, community leaders come together and they get to experience different perspectives from different people.
Paris Dye is managing director of Impact SAC. She's also a leader with the Black Child Legacy Campaign. That's a Sacramento County initiative now 10 years strong, focused on reducing preventable deaths of Black youth.
There was data released about 10 years ago from Sacramento County's Child Death Review Team pointing out that African American children here in Sacramento are dying at more than twice the rate of other children.
Shelley Jones is managing director of local initiatives with the Center at Sierra Health Foundation, which facilitates the Black Child Legacy Campaign.
We do believe that if there weren't a Black Child Legacy Campaign, that things would look different within the community.
The campaign focuses on 4 areas where Black youth are dying from preventable deaths at disproportionately high rates, including perinatal conditions, infant sleep-related deaths, child abuse and neglect, and third-party homicides. In its 10 years, the Black Child Legacy Campaign says it has exceeded its goals in 3 of these 4 areas.
The impact has been incredible.
According to the most recent data, Sacramento County has seen an overall 17% reduction in Black child deaths since the inception of the initiative. 24% reduction in deaths related to perinatal conditions, 37% reduction in infant sleep-related deaths, and 63% reduction in child abuse and neglect deaths. When it comes to third-party homicides, there have been wins and now challenges. The Black Child Legacy Campaign celebrated 2 consecutive years of 0 youth homicides in 2018 and 2019. But then the pandemic hit, which leaders say contributed to a rise in violence locally and nationwide.
A lot of those positive, safe gathering spaces that just were not open to the public for over a year made it challenging to be able to connect and engage with the youth in the way that we typically would. And that definitely contributed to not being able to prevent as many youth homicides.
The most recent available data show a 38% increase in third-party homicides since the launch of the Black Child Legacy Campaign. But the long-lasting effects of the pandemic on youth violence could be coming to an end, Shelley says.
From December to January, this was the first holiday break that we did not have any youth homicides in a very long time. So that was really exciting.
So how does the Black Child Legacy Campaign work specifically? A decade ago, leaders identified 7 communities where the data said Black youth death disparities were the highest and designated one nonprofit community-based organization to be the lead in each area. Impact SAC is the lead organization in the Foothill Farms North Highlands community.
It's been incredible, just being able to provide a safety net throughout the county of community providers together, and having a common a common thread, of the Black Child Legacy campaign that brings us all together.
In each of the 7 areas, a whole network of different community-based organizations work to serve the campaign's mission, from intervening in incidents of gang violence to teaching and encouraging safe sleep for newborns.
One of the leading causes of death in African American communities for young children is SIDS-related deaths or sudden sleep-related deaths that are unexplained, but sometimes often caused by co-sleeping or not having a child that's sleeping alone. We use the ABCs of sleep, which is making sure your baby's alone, on their back, and laying in their crib.
It's a mission that became even more personal for Shelley after the birth of her son last year.
Just to ensure that things are, safe, he's able to thrive and be healthy, and the same thing that we want for our child is what we really want for all Black children in Sacramento and everywhere.
Leaders say helping Black youth helps everybody.
Now, when children are born in Sacramento County, the hospital will ask, do you have a safe place to sleep your baby? And if not, any family, regardless of race, they are sent home with a pack and play to sleep their child.
Thank you everybody for being here.
Now, after a successful decade of work, the Black Child Legacy campaign is setting its next long-term goals.
Tangible outcomes, increase in school attendance, increases in grades, and staying longer in their households, finding places to build stable homes.
I asked Paris, who has been with the Black Child Legacy campaign since the beginning, what motivates her to continue the work.
The wins are when the days are great, of course, but what motivates me is the senseless tragedies that occur, the actual preventable deaths of all children in our neighborhood.
She's focused on a future where Black youth don't just remain alive, but are on a path to thrive. In Sacramento County, Becca Habiger, ABC 10.
And the Black Child Legacy campaign offers free programming all over the county. To learn more about their work in the community, we do have a story up right now on ABC10.com. Still ahead, onto the point, shaping our communities. Meet a local advocate helping to create a just and equitable California. Plus, making history as Sacramento's first Black head football coach, what Brennan Marion hopes to accomplish during his time at the university. And then we hit the back roads. We're taking you to Napa's first Black-owned winery, how they created a successful business while incorporating their family legacy. Welcome back. As we share stories of Black leaders helping to shape our communities, meet Chris Logston, a dedicated advocate who played a key role in California's historic reparations movement.
My name is Chris Logston. I am the lead organizer and advocate with the Coalition for a Just and Equitable California. The Coalition for a Just and Equitable California is like no other organization in California history. It is the first and only statewide grassroots volunteer-led organization born and bred for reparations and reparative justice for Black American freedmen living in California. In 2019, we walked into this building behind me and went to see then Assembly member, now California Secretary of State, Dr. Shirley Weber, and the rest is history. We are the first state in the country to create a reparations task force, a 9-member group of people whose job it was from 2021 to 2023 to do 3 things: document the harm of slavery in California, educate the public, and make reparations recommendations. Right now, we're working with state legislators to create reparations bills and turn those bills into laws. The wealth gap that we experience today, in our case, is caused by the institution of slavery. So what we say is, do the next best thing and pay us, their children. Black History Month also means a time to look at who's making Black history right now and what that history making that's going on right now means for future generations.
Next, on to the point, to meet Sacramento State's first Black head football coach making history. We'll show you how he got his start and also his plans for the future of the program. Plus, how a Sacramento woman is honoring her late mother and her culture through dance and drums. And on the back roads, we're going to introduce you to a family who is behind Napa's first Black-owned winery, how an abandoned farm turned into a family's legacy. Welcome back. We are highlighting African-American voices shaping our communities. Sacramento State's new head football coach, Brennan Marion, is making history as the university's first black head coach. As he tells ABC10's Chris Thomas, he hopes to make a lot more history in the capital city.
It's fair to say it's an exciting time for the Sacramento State Hornets.
The Hornet touchdown!
They're buzzing about new head football coach Brennan Marion. He comes with over a decade of college football coaching experience, with his most recent position as offensive coordinator for the UNLV Rebels. He also held coaching roles at 11 other colleges.
You're making history, first African-American head coach at Sac State. Do you have a dream that this would be a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think anytime you see coaches that have came before you and you know, trailblazed the path, you feel like, man, maybe one day that can be me.
Coach Marion tells me he was especially attracted to Sacramento State because of two African-American leaders, Sac State President Dr. Luke Wood and Athletic Director Mark Orr.
Guys that look like me, that had some swagger to them, intelligent men who have, you know, built bridges, and ultimately for me was like, wow, we can do this together. We got something great that we can build here in Sacramento. And so I was excited to join them in their vision.
The recent three-time Big Sky Conference champions are planning a big move, with the Sac State Student Athlete Advisory Committee officially endorsing the football team transitioning to the FBS, the highest level of college football in the nation.
You want to see them on ESPN and playing in those big games, and so now this will give us the opportunity to do that.
And talk to me about this. It ain't cheap. I think it's what, like $5 million or something like that? $2.5 million already voted on behalf of the students. Another 2.5 coming from donors.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime you talk about leveling up or going to a new level, there's going to be a certain cost to that. And the thing that I'm proud about is our players are not taking that lightly. They're really grateful and appreciative by the work that they put in every morning out here.
1, 2, 3, champions! Here we go!
You got your Go-Go Sacramento merch going. You're bringing that Go-Go offense here that you're famous for. What can people expect?
We talk about living a championship life, and one great year can change our life. So every day that we put the work in, we have an end goal in mind. And so our thought process has always been to either win with us or watch us win, but at the end of the day, we're going to win.
He tells me his determination to win and never give up was instilled in him at a young age.
I started football in my grandfather's backyard when I was about 5, and I'll never forget, they were beating me up back there in the backyard, and I ran into the house to my grandfather like, why they keep hitting so hard? You know, it's like, and I was crying, and he was like, well, you can quit or you can go back out there. And I ran back out there, and ever since I've been kind of on the football journey and football train. And so, you know, started football at a very young age. And, you know, obviously I always say thank God for the ball that saved my life. And it's brought me all the way to this point.
Oh, that's a powerful statement. It saved your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, growing up, single mom, you know, moving around a lot, football's always kind of been my safe haven, my comfort zone, my place to go to, you know, my rest, you know, free from the world and the things that are going on. So it's been awesome.
And you can watch the full interview with Coach Marion on the ABC10 Plus TV streaming app, and also hear the story behind his cowboy hat and much more. Just find it on our Race and Culture playlist under the News tab. In South Sacramento, the Phoenix Drum and Dance Company is helping to shape and educate the community about their culture through music and dance. The company is the product of Olivia Yasmin and her late mother, Angela James. The goal of the classes are to allow people to participate in drums and dance of Africa with Afro-Caribbean music.
Well, we're really studying not just African dance, but dance of the diaspora. So how African dance has influenced other art, other forms of dance, other culture, other movements, to really show the interconnectedness of most everybody to Africa and people of African descent.
You can find more about their classes and how to attend their dance classes on the website phoenixdrumanddance.com. Well, for generations, Napa Valley has been synonymous with fine wine, but for many, breaking into the winemaking industry hasn't really been that easy. John Bartel takes you to Brown Estate, Napa's first Black-owned winery.
So So to really have an estate winery, it usually historically takes 3 generations. The first generation will acquire the land and homestead it. The second generation will plant grapes, and the third will start a winery. But Mom and Dad did the first 2 steps for us.
When Coral Brown's parents first purchased an abandoned 500-acre farm in 1980, they didn't know their children would grow up to become Napa's first Black-owned winery.
And they bought this property as a place, sort of an escape from the city, where we could work together as a family and bond together.
Originally, their dad was from Jamaica and their mom was from Panama. Both, though, worked at the family practice they purchased in Los Angeles. So when they bought the Napa Valley farm, their 3 kids, Coral, Deneen, and David, were a little puzzled when they learned their parents were going to be growing grapes.
Mom and Dad, in fact, they weren't wine drinkers at all. They were in the medical field.
Homesteading the farm was tough for the Brown family. They first had to fix up the dilapidated farmhouse and barn, and then learn how to plant a crop of Zinfandel vines. David Brown says his parents got a lot of help from the community in Napa Valley.
When we first moved here, there was just one telephone line, so, it's like a party line with the neighbors, so you got to know everybody, and everybody, if you needed something or your tractor broke down or whatever, everybody was helping. We were all kind of in the same boat.
David says his parents made friends with winemakers throughout the Napa Valley, and as the farm grew, he started to learn the ins and outs of winemaking.
Growing up, I didn't know that this was an option.
In the beginning, the Brown family focused solely on growing and distributing grapes, but in 1995 and 96, all 3 of the Brown children made the decision to start their own winery.
It was not really what they wanted us to do. They wanted us to become doctors. And when we said, you know what, we want to take it to the bottle, they said, well, I guess we need to keep up with the times.
With David taking over the winemaking process, the rest of the family turned the dilapidated farmhouse and barn into a winery and a place of business, which included constructing a wine cave to store all the product.
Yeah, it took about 9 months of blasting to get this entire cave.
Brown Estate became their flagship label, followed by their second label, House of Brown, each wine telling the family story and the Napa Valley community that welcomed them.
My dad would always say, it's such a fraternal place. Everybody helps everyone else. And it's part of the Napa Valley culture.
The Browns do recognize that people of color face barriers starting farms and owning wineries, but they're living proof that with family and the right community to back you up, anything's possible.
And there are plenty other Black farmers now, small wineries here and there, and it's very inspiring to us to see that maybe we opened the door.
For Black History Month in Napa Valley, I'm John Bartel.
And you can find more Bartel's Backroads destinations on the ABC10 Plus TV streaming app. They are under the Shows tab. Just scroll down to Travel and you'll see Bartel's Backroads. And you can download the app for free by scanning that QR code that's in the corner of your screen right there. All right, still ahead, highlighting local Black leaders. We're introducing you to a pastor who's working to bridge gaps and build acceptance for the LGBTQ+ community. We are honoring the contributions and impact of Black leaders in our communities. Meet Pastor Amendayo Edwards, a transgender pastor bridging faith and acceptance for the LGBTQ+ community through his ministry.
My name is Amendayo Edwards, and I am the senior pastor and founding pastor of the Integrated Praise Spiritual Center here in Sacramento, California. I am a 4th generation, probably 5th generation PK preacher's kid. Grew up in the Church of God in Christ. So grew up most of my adult life as female, lived it as female in the church, but feeling like something was missing. And so May of 2014, I started my journey as a male, and I have not looked back. Not only did both of my parents accept me, my father, being a preacher himself, calls me his son. That's huge in the Black community. That's also the same year that we opened up our church. With Integrated Praise, you come as you are. No judgment, no pretense. We are now in a very trying time as a country, as a nation, because the new administration has made it very clear that he's coming for people like us. We are a ministry that is fully ready to support and be a space for community. So I use Black History Month to remind me that the work is not done. We're not free until all of our African American, indigenous people of color are free. That we're not just gonna sit idly by and let our rights be taken away from us.
Thank you so much for watching and for inviting us into your home. If you have something that you think we should be looking into, reach out to me and the team. You can always email us at tothepoint@abc10.com. And remember, strangers are just people we haven't gotten the chance to meet yet, so take the time to get to know someone. And To The Point does not end here. To watch stories that are featured on our show, you can download our free ABC10 Plus streaming app straight to your TV.